Let's hit it. Welcome, first-time listeners and returners to the Sports Deli, where everyone deserves a seat at the table, especially our next incredible guest. So grab your favorite deli sandwich or bagel and your favorite beverage, and let's do this together in the Sports Deli. We're so honored to welcome on World Math and National Cereal Day, the pride of Croatia, where I want to visit one day, as I mentioned earlier, because I hear it's incredibly beautiful, an international trailblazer, our 21st professional basketball player or coach, 16th NBA player or coach, second Hall of Famer, along with Rick Barry, and third player or coach from the Boston Celtics to be on the show, Sam Vincent and Kevin Eastman being the others, Dino Radja. Shout out to Tamir, the Jewish Jordan, who we just talked about, for letting me know that you visited him in Israel. And that's when I reached out to you. And also shout out, as we talked about earlier, Tamir's new Aviv net, which you have there in your house. For more information about this incredible basketball net technology, check out avivsports.com. He plays the guitar very well. And if you go on YouTube and do a search for Dino Radja, you'll find his video of him playing the guitar. And he's played in front of as many as 85,000 people. Unbelievable. Dino won 2 EuroLeague championships. Besides playing for the Celtics, he's played all over the world, including Rome, another place that I want to visit one day, and Greece, among others. He never drank, smoked, or went out because he never wanted to jeopardize his job. And after the season was over, he only took 10 days off before he started training again for the next season. He loves dressing up and hugging his dog like I do. He was born the same day as Kelly Clarkson, Barbra Streisand, Cedric the Entertainer, and the same year as Deion Sanders, Rex Chapman, Derek Coleman from my hometown, Detroit Northern High School, Terry Mills, Romulus, and BJ Armstrong, the last three, again, all from my hometown in Detroit, Michigan. He played in the 1988 Olympics, played with Toni Kukoc growing up in juniors. He was voted as one of the FIBA's 50 greatest players of all time. He also played with the late Drazen Petrovic, who was one of the first European players to come to the NBA, and he made a huge impact, not only on the court, but off. And he was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall-of-Fame in 2018 and gave a lot of credit during his speech to his coaches and said that he could still play with Toni now with his eyes closed. He also thought when they first called him, it was a joke. And then once he realized it was for real, he cried for like 10 days. He played with the likes of D. Brown, Robert Parrish, and many other amazing NBA players against some of the greatest players in NBA history, like MJ, Scotty, the Mailman, Stockton, Patrick, Hakeem, Chuck, Shaq, and the Admiral. He's now an NBA ambassador, and you can find him on Instagram at Dino Radja _official. And Dino, it's always truly an honor. I don't know why people come on my show, because I'm not really on anybody, but it's truly an honor to have our third Celtic in the Sports Deli podcast, where everybody deserves a seat at the table.
Thank you.
Oh man, we got a lot of stuff going on in the last couple of years between the racial reckoning and the pandemic and Ukraine, and so you have kids, right?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yeah, and so how I have a daughter, she's 11. How has it been for you and the family to help your kids through, even though you're in another country, to deal with everything, especially emotionally?
You try to minimize these things, not to give them too many informations, and you try to make their life go as normal as possible,
Yeah.
When everything was online, everything was online. You can't do anything about that. But then everything else you try, you try to live a normal life. You try to go out with them. Of course, in the beginning, early 2020, when we didn't know anything about this virus, we thought it's flying from one person to another person across the street. So, but we used to go out and walk. You go walk in the woods. You go walk the streets. You try to pick up the time when there's not too many people. And anyway, people are afraid. So, but you try to watch, comedies instead of tragedies.
Right.
You try to pick something that's easier, and it's the same for everybody. You just try to tell them that's life. You have to. Life is not always, flowers and kisses and hugs. It's bad things also. So this is something that when you grow up, you're going to have to deal with it. Now you see how it is, and you appreciate life, I think, more when you go through these hard times and you handle them.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about that. I usually don't talk about that until later with regards to mental health, but since you brought it up, I want to ask you from this perspective because, you can't be a professional athlete and have the longevity that you had without being mentally tough. And when you played, it was a different era. And I just talked to Drew Henson about this morning. He's a former player at Michigan for the Dallas Cowboys and for the New York Yankees. He played 2 sports. And back then, it was a different time in terms of how you handled injuries and how you spoke out or you didn't speak out. You basically shut your mouth. And so I'm curious with regards to your kids and their friends, do they know who you really are and how mentally tough you had to be, not only because of the former Yugoslavia and your upbringing as a basketball player? Do you give them some perspective about how to live life?
You talk to them every day, and you show them stuff every day. It's not just you guys in America have one good thing that I like. You say talk is cheap. So I completely agree with that, because when somebody is showing you by example certain things, then you appreciate them much more than somebody is talking. So I try to do that. I try to show my kids, with example whenever you can, how to deal with stuff. Like when we are driving a car and I see somebody driving too fast, dangerous in a city, I tell them, very, very straightforward. Like, if I see you driving like this, I'm going to beat your car with a baseball bat, and then you inside. So, you have to set example. I see. I know, Christmas time, people go out and drink and do stuff. So I see a drunk girl, 18, 19-year-old, and I see she's basically in danger because it was, late, and I took her and I tried to give her some water, and I wanted to put her in a cab, and then I realized that she's not able to, she's going to vomit in the cab, and this cab driver can kick her out or do whatever they can do to harm her. And I say, okay, we're going to drive her home. So I figure out where she lives, and we drove her home. So 2 months later, it was his birthday, and he's 19 already. So they tend to go out and stuff. And I asked him, how was your evening with the guys? And he said, great. I was copying you. I saw a drunk, and I said, wow. Okay, I need to help her, because nobody else would. Because today we live in a society where one like on Instagram or something is more valuable than the real friends in real time, and unfortunately, but that's the way we are going, and I think it's irreversible. So you have to set example and try to be, as normal as possible, because I think today the most hard thing for kids is to be just normal. I don't care if my kids are basketball players or scientists or Nobel Prize winners, or I just want them to be normal human beings. I just want them to be, personalities that I can be proud of their normality, not of their success or money they make or anything. I just want them to be, to say good morning, good evening to their neighbors, to their friends, to stand up in the bus when the elderly person is coming in. I don't care what they do with their lives otherwise.
Man, I have to let that breathe for a second. Yeah, what a turn. With that question, I did not expect that. What a powerful visual I had, as far as when I used to grow up. And I just talked to somebody about this, about how we are living in such a disrespectful, instant gratification time where there's such a feeling of entitlement with kids. And I don't know how it is there. But how did that make you feel when he told you that story? Like, because we don't know if our kids are going to make the right decisions, but when he told you that story, did it make you feel like some kind of way that, wow, I'm actually...
It's unexplainable.
Oh,
it's
unbelievable.
Because it's hard work, really. It's everyday work, and I'm very proud of my kids because of that. They don't care about this materialistic stuff.
Yeah.
And I see them in relationship with their friends, and I see that they are welcoming. Each of them is different age, and each of them have different interests and different group of friends. So what I see, and I love the most of everything, that I see that their friends love them. They invite them to their homes. They, of course, we invite all of their friends at our home. My oldest son is playing basketball, and he's very much loved in the locker room. My middle son is also very much loved, he's he's a coach. He's going into school to being a coach, and right now he's working with teenagers, 14, 15-year-old. And when the older coach is telling, he's with us for 6 months, and kids like him more than they like me, and I'm their coach for 5 years. That's something that make me proud more than anything.
God, that's just amazing. I just told Drew this earlier this morning. There was a quarterback that was at the NFL Combine, and he was picking up trash at the NFL Combine.
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, no one's even watching this guy. He wasn't doing it for, like you said, a like or a click. And I asked him, is this the kind of thing that would make the difference between drafting him and someone else? And he said, absolutely. That's the kind of stuff and so to that point,
I bet you that guy learned that from his parents.
And that's what my next question was going to be. Where did you have such a strong foundation and learn these things? Culturally, there's things that are different in life, but some things are the same no matter where you live.
As I told you before, everything goes from the parents. And I remember, my parents when I was a kid. If I didn't say hello to elderly neighbor, I don't want to be too rude.
Old school.
And
yeah.
She would kick the shit out of me. And if she heard that I wasn't getting up in a bus for some old lady, and they recognize me and tell my mother that, ooh, she beat me. Really, she beat me. And and my father, he didn't have to beat me. He just looked at me. The moment when he looked at me, I knew everything. So I wasn't. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare to do some shit. Believe me. And that's what I want with my kids. I don't have high demands. I just want them to be normal.
Is there a carryover, you think, to the court from that perspective? Because Rick Barry came on the show, Hall of Famer, one of the top 75 best players in the history of the game. And he said the current players have no idea about what he went through, making very little money, taking buses, no charter flights, and it was probably decent when you played, but do you think the current player, there's a disconnect also?
I'll tell you a few things, but it may sound like jealousy or something, but really it's not. I'm really not that kind of a person. I know, I know my value. I don't care that people today make way more money than I did. It's different times, and
It is what it is.
it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. I'm happy that people around me are making more money. Less are they're gonna bug me to borrow them. And I'm really, but today's world is much easier for NBA players than it was before. You just look, for example, Michael Jordan and what he had to endure getting into the paint, against New York, against Detroit, against these guys. They beat the crap out of him. And today players, they, you can't look at them in the wrong way.
Right.
You are going on a free throw line. How many free throws, Harden shoot in the last couple of years, and how many free throws Jordan shoot in his time. So I think it's much easier to play for talented guys. Game is different, but for talented guys, I think it's much easier to play a game today than it was before. Yeah,
well, being from Detroit, and following the Pistons back then, I obviously know about the Bad Boys, and they were a whole different.
I play with the Rick Mahorn,
yes, right,
1.5 years, so I know what he did do to me on practice. Yeah, friend of mine.
Yeah,
I mean, we played together, and
absolutely.
Beat me on practice.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him on the show. He coached in the WNBA also, and so he's a great guy. So I was thinking, when it comes to just the way that the game has evolved, like you just talked about, we've always said, at least back in the day, that you can't play the way that they play in Europe because they're too soft. And now we're playing the way that you guys played 30 years ago. So talk about how it was then, and then then you get to the call to come to the Celtics, and you're playing in a way where if you were in today's game, like Nikolai or some of these guys that are playing now, man, it would have been you probably would have had a longer career, just from a physicality perspective.
Definitely. When I play,
oh my God,
you have a feeling after the game that first of all that you come out of the weight room,
right,
and then
a boxing match.
All due respect with this generation, with the great as these guys are, like Steph Curry and
John Morant, all these guys,
Lebron, and everybody, great players. But I think that generation of original dream team, I think those guys are really something else.
So when you used to practice, the European way, were you during Euros back then? Were you doing step? Larry did a step back, and no one really realizes it. Everyone's like, yeah, Larry's slow, and he was just good at all phases of the game. But Larry had a step back. Were you practicing those types of ways, or was it more moving without the ball when you were growing up?
I'm really proud of being part of this great, I think the greatest generation in Europe of all time, of big guys that start to run.
Vlade, you.
Yeah, before
Drazen,
us, the big guys were, like heavy paint connected guys, slower,
couldn't jump,
stronger, couldn't jump, couldn't run, and but the basketball was different. And then I had a young coach who was back then, who was like 30 something, early 30s, and me and Divac were coming out of this school, and he said to me, you know, if you want to be a better player than Divac, you have to run more than him. And you know, back then you don't realize what he's saying, but then later on you know that you know he had a vision that complete vision of a big guys is changing. That you know, you have to run like a guard, and you know, we start doing that, and so it was so much fun playing with Vlade, because you know,
Oh man.
when he grabbed a rebound, I was already half court.
Right.
And vice versa. So it was really, you know, and Toni, you have a guy who is 6'10" and who could dribble and like a point guard, and he was like a point guard. So
And
you know,
left-handed.
yeah, and so I'm really, you know, lucky and proud to be part of this generation that change really the perspective of the basketball. And if you see the guys today, if you see Antetokounmpo or Jokic or these big guys who can pass the ball, who can dribble the ball, who can shoot from outside, it's just amazing how basketball developed in the last, you know, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I'm sure you just wish there was a little happy medium where there was a little bit more physicality and, you know, a little bit more, you know, respect when you went to the hole, and it wasn't so easy, you know, along with the skill and the creativity, because then it would probably be a good balance.
You know, today they protect talent. That's obviously, and
Yeah.
you know, I went through some harder times, but you know, I guess somebody had to do that.
Yeah.
As I said before, every era brings something new. So what's gonna be in 20 years? Hopefully, I'm gonna be alive enough to see it. But I like basketball of you know, 90s better than I like it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard you talk about that. Absolutely. Different game, moving without the ball, you know, Reggie Miller, and, you know, just more team basketball. The pick and rolls are great, but man,
every team had like 2 or 3 superstars. Every team.
Yeah.
If you look throughout the NBA, every team was, you know, loaded.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love the
You
90s.
play, and you know, one day you play against Shaquille O'Neal, another day you play against David Robinson, then the third day you play against Hakeem Olajuwon, and then you play against Brad Dougherty, then you go and play against the
mailman. Yeah.
You know, Pat Ewing, and then you the next day against Barkley, and then against the mailman. And then
Unbelievable.
Chris Webber, and then every day you are against you know, one of the Hall of Famers. So
yeah, it's unbelievable. So when Sam Vincent was on the show, he told us a story that I'd never heard before. That he was with Lenny Bias the night before he died, and you know, everybody comes on here and shares a different perspective, especially when Kevin Eastman was on and Sam, about the lore and the history of, you know, the Celtics, which is one of the most storied franchises in all of sports, not just basketball. And did you have any idea of just how, from Bill Russell to Red Auerbach, you know, the history when you got there and what it meant?
you know, when they contacted me first, I thought, you know, somebody's joking with me also. You know, I remember, and I will never forget that moment that we are playing the Knicks, and you know, preseason you play the games in the Garden, but you know, regular season, first game, season opener, I'm about to get in. You know, after 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game, coach called me for a sub, and I'm waiting for a game to stop. And you know, at the moment you look up and you see these numbers and you see these names and you see these years with the titles and everything, and you realize you are like a young guy from a 200,000 people village, getting on the same floor where Havlicek stole the ball. You know, everybody in NBA, everybody who dribble basketball knows about Havlicek stole the ball, Havlicek stole the ball. So you are about to enter the court, at the same court where that happened. and you're in disbelief, and then the feeling that I can try to explain to you, there is no explanation. And it was amazing, being a part of that. It was amazing to get to know Red Aurbach, because he's probably the most iconic personality in NBA basketball. And to be able to talk to him, to be able to sit with him and discuss basketball. He would call me like on the summertime and come and see some potential rookies and tell me what you think about them. And he sits next to me smoking that stinky cigar and falling asleep during the practice, and that was Red, and then pick his brain and
Right.
see what he thinks and how he handles that. It's unbelievable. I was really blessed to have those opportunities in my life.
What did you learn most from him when you had those conversations? Was it about business, or was it basketball, or did he just
basketball.
basketball?
We talk only basketball, nothing else.
So did Larry Bird reach out to you, because he had just retired, right? Did you talk to him about just anything,
He
or
was
did you?
he was coming. He was coming. On the practices with us. He used to dress with us sometimes. When we miss guys from injuries, or he would just practice with us a little bit, and he used to come a lot on the practices. And I had some really bad luck, coming to Celtics, because first of all, what happened to Lembias a couple of years early, and then the summer that I came,
Reggie
Lewis died. So in this NBA world with the salary cap, with the draft, you cannot replace the two guys like that in a short period of time. So imagine today when you have like a guy. What happened to Golden State when Steph Curry got injured for the season? What happened? They all broke to pieces. So that happened to Celtics in 1993. So I didn't fight for the championship, which probably I could, but it was great experience for me, and I love my 4 years in Boston. I like the city of Boston. It's a great city, basketball, mind city, and the people over there know basketball, and even today, that once a Celtic, always a Celtic. I can feel it, and being part of that organization is a great feeling. Even today, I have a contact over there, and I have friends over there, and every time I go in the US, I always go through Boston, because it's unimaginable to me to go through the States and not stop to Boston to see my friends for a day or two at least.
That's awesome. I usually ask this question in the rapid fire, but I got to ask you. So obviously Boston has, sports in every way that are historic. So did you go to a Bruins, Red Sox, and New England?
All the time.
Wait, which was your, so your first hockey game? Tell me about your Bruins, because I'm from Hockey Town, right? So I know tell me about a Bruins game for you.
Okay, I live. I don't know how much you know Boston, but I live in Devonshire building, which was, people from Boston who listen to this will know, which is about 5 to 10 minutes walk to the Garden. And you know how we play. We play Monday, we play Tuesday, they play Wednesday, we play Thursday, they play, something like that. So we all the time.
Because it's the same arena for people that don't understand what we're talking about. Yeah.
So everybody, all stuff back then, before September 11, it was much more open, everything. Right. So we had the same stuff working for the hockey and basketball game. So I was bored, and we had practice in the morning. What are you gonna do in the afternoon? You go to the Garden, because it was my home.
Yeah.
And the Garden was sold out all the time.
all the time.
And I used to sit on the stairs, and you know, my best friend was a policeman that was, you know, that I call him Grandpa in Croatian.
Yeah.
And that was his nickname. And you know, Grant Gray was his name. Unfortunately, he died a couple of years ago. But he, you know, he was 80 something.
Yeah.
And so I was, you know, like, first game that I saw, it was a huge fight. You know,
I love it.
One guy now, I think his name was Steve Leach.
Okay.
He was playing for the Bruins. His name was Steve Leach for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a little guy, and he had a fight with a guy who was like a head taller than him, and he beat the crap out of him. With so much blood. You know how the rules are. They let
right.
fight until one is on the ground.
Falls down. Yeah.
They fought for a long time. I mean, 2 minutes of fight is.
You're exhausted. Yes.
It was a lot of blood on the ice. And after the game, I went to the locker room and I said, I want to meet this guy. And I bought a shirt, Steve Leach, and I carried on me all the time. And I fell in love with hockey, and I went to see probably most of their games for 4 years, all the time. You know, I sit on the steps. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Was the game standing on my feet?
Were you ever banging on the glass like, you know, some of the fanatics?
No. I sit
Right.
I sit like in the middle, far away.
Yeah.
But I love hockey. And
But
then
tell people, there's nothing like being in person. Like if you watch hockey on television, it does not do it justice. Like you have to be at a game, and a playoff game is even like the electricity in the building. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And especially when they play Montreal.
Oh my gosh.
There is a rivalry between
Absolutely.
Boston and Montreal in hockey, and
right.
And those are, you know, original 6 teams. And when they play Montreal, especially when they play Montreal in playoffs, it's unbelievable. You don't believe the change from like any other game to that game. And I went to see some Red Sox game, but you know that game is a little slow and uninterested until the playoffs come. 104 years for that.
Yes.
But I keep following the Boston teams even now, and I'm very, very attached to the old Boston teams.
Yeah,
you know?
But I was going to ask you, the first time you walked in, because the first time I went into Fenway, I stopped in my tracks. I couldn't believe how small it was. Because when you watch it on television, you think it's this big place, and it's like a Cracker Jack box. It's, you know, besides the Green Monster, it's small.
I know.
So I don't know if you had the same experience, but it blew me out of the water. But what about the Patriots?
I went to see them to their old building.
Right.
Or before Foxborough, before the Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, Gillette. Mm-hmm.
And I remember they were playing Buffalo Bills, and it was a snowy day.
Wow. And
I told myself, I mean, you know, you are inexperienced. You are coming from the city that's mostly sunny and everything.
Right.
And you know, I go for a game. You know, sitting for 3 hours on the snow outside and cold. I told myself, never again. Never again. But you know, I follow Patriots now more than anything. You know, you see. Let me show you. You know, I have a. You know.
Wow. Yeah, Bill Belichick. We sort of know who he is. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I have you know every keychain or everything.
Wow.
Everything on my. If you look at my closet, I have more Patriots jerseys than anything else.
Oh, that's amazing.
See this.
There's a Boston Red Sox baseball there. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, so tell me who has this.
Oh, those are rings. Those are
rings.
Look at those rings. Wow. Are those replicas or are those the real
Of
deal?
course, they're replicas.
I was like, wow, maybe he bid on those on eBay or something. Wow, those are so cool. So those are, wait, those are all the Patriots?
Yeah, all six.
Wow. Wow. Wait, that's amazing.
Okay,
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't even know you could get that.
Okay, I'll show you more.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
you see my.
So for those of you that are just listening, he's showing us like 5 levels of memorabilia. Wow, he's got a Red Sox.
Budweiser bottle.
Oh, the Budweiser Red Sox World Series champion bottle. Wow, look.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
This is awesome. Bud Light. Oh, the Super Bowl. Oh, Super Bowl. Yeah, wow.
Super Bowl 49.
Oh, that's amazing. Bud
Who
Light.
won that one?
Oh, we know who won that one.
Okay. Okay. Another one.
There's
Super
a
Bowl
cup.
51.
51, the cup, a beer cup, or a
Who won
soda cup.
Who won that one?
My God. Do your kids ask you about all this stuff? Like why? Or like they
Oh,
know?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And see, this is probably the most valuable thing.
Wow. Is that a coin? Is that the coin?
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, that's not the coin from the coin toss, is it?
No. But that's
It's just a coin. Yeah, like memorabilia. Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, the front and back of the
Yeah.
coin. Yeah, replica. Oh wow, that's so cool. Oh, that's well, you had some good times with Tom Brady.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, of course. Of course. And I got him too.
Tom Brady, little doll. That's hilarious. That's classic. Well, I got a few things behind me, but I don't have anything like that. I got news for you.
I can see
That's
that.
classic. So tell everyone about, because most people don't know about you and your Hall of Fame experience. So tell everyone what that meant to you and what that was like.
It's unbelievable. You know, when I was when I found out about it, I asked a guy, also a coach from Croatia. He was inducted in Hall of Fame like 2004, I think. And I asked him like, how is that? What's happening? So I can prepare, for ceremony, what I have to wear, what I have to bring, what I have to have with me, what's happening. And he explained to me the dynamics of everything. And he told me one sentence at the end, like, whatever I tell you right now, you have no idea what's going to happen and the feeling that you're going to go through. And I was like, what can surprise me? I play in front of 10,000 people, 20, 30,000. Most people I play in front of was 33,000 people. I play guitar in front of 85,000 people. What can surprise me? Nothing can surprise me. But then when everything was happening, he was completely right. Like the moment when I had to go out on the stage and talk to, have my speech, and you are going out and you have all of a sudden you realize that you have Larry Bird in front of you, actually behind you, and everybody else, all these superstars in front of you. You have to say something that makes sense. It was unbelievable feeling, really unbelievable.
How long did you prepare your speech?
1 minute.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I write things on the Facebook, and I have this moments of when the bulb shines, and then I write something that I think, and like when we start these preparations for the Hall of Fame ceremony, and it was like 6 months before, and they gave me what I had to do. I have to take the size of my stuff, and I have to measure my ring. I have to do this and that. And one of the things was I had to write a speech. So I wrote a speech. At first I told them I don't want to write a speech. I want to talk from my head. And they say, no, we have to, because of the slot, you have 5 minutes, you have to be in that 5 minutes and you have to write it for us. And I say, okay. So I wrote the speech within 1 minute, really. Quickly, I send it to them and I haven't looked at it for 4 months. And then when I came there, you have, rehearsal, you have to try it. And I read it on a screen. And they ask, okay, let's go, because you have your half an hour. It's the stage is yours for half an hour. You can do as many tries if you want. You can do whatever you want. Bigger letters, smaller letters, whatever you want. And I read it once, and they asked me, okay, let's go another time. I said, I don't have to. I don't need. I have everything. What I want is in my head. So when the ceremony started, it was like I don't know how many, 7, 8 people before me, and most of these guys read from the screen, and they look to me like robots. You see them alive, and you see 2 TVs on the side. So you see how you guys see it from the TV, and how it is in the real.
It really is, yeah.
So when you see it on TV, it looks okay, but when you see guys in front of you, they look like robots, and I just didn't like that. And so I told myself, I'm not going to read. I'm not going to read. If I screw something up, that's life. You don't make all of shots that you want to make. So I went up on a stage, and I thought it's going to be easy, but then at the moment when I step on the stage, when everything was really happening, I was like, wow, just don't faint. And I was like having light, and I felt like I'm fighting for the realize what's happening.
Yeah.
And then one thing, you learn that, of course, through the sports, you try to concentrate that moment. And I was really trying very hard to concentrate because I had this concept in my mind. You have to, in 5 minutes, you have to say something about your coaches and your co-players, and you have to just stick to the timetable. You don't jump from era to era. You just have to stick to the timetable. So you go through the years, and then you cannot skip anybody. So
you were having amnesia for a second.
It really, it was really hard. It was really hard. You have to be really, really constant. I remember myself, before you start talking, you have like a minute of introduction, walking, and I remember myself start thinking like, okay, just stick to the timetable, stick to the timetable. Don't who coached you from the beginning to the end, and who was your teammate from the beginning to the end. Tell their names, and then all my friends, they were with me. So when I finished with my coaches and teammates, and then I had people in front of me sitting in 2 rows, so that I could just point.
Yeah, right.
So,
oh man,
that was great, really.
Congratulations, that's amazing. Oh,
thank you.
What the ultimate honor. Not that you started playing the game for that kind of thing, but man, to have that, just as a part of your legacy. Oh, truly incredible to be in the company of who you're in the company with. Like, you just can't even, you got to just stop and think about it. You literally just shake your head.
Yeah. I really, a few occasions before, I was really, happy, lucky to be born in the same time with certain people, with Toni Kukoc, Drazen Petrovic.
Yeah.
And to play against the dream team, come on, it's a blessing. To play against Michael Jordan several times, Shaquille O'Neal. He's a huge dude. And he's quick, strong, and when you get out of the game against him, you feel like you're pushing the truck.
Oh man, that's fascinating. Okay, so one more. You get to choose the last topic before we get to the rapid fire. Okay, so we either have Ukraine, social injustice, mental health, or transitioning to life after basketball. Which one of those four do you want to talk about?
You know what? We don't know stuff about Ukraine. We know only that they were attacked, and you know, it's unfortunate because I don't understand really how somebody can go in a different country to, I don't know.
You know, what breaks my heart is I've seen several videos on the Russian troops in the company of the Ukrainian people calling home, telling their families that they had no idea that they were going to war, that they thought that they were doing something completely different. And just to see the authenticity of their calls and their faces, and it's just heartbreaking.
It's really, I don't understand this desire, because, you know, when you go to do stuff like that, you always hurt somebody's children. So I don't know how somebody can go somewhere, anywhere, and hurt somebody's children, because you have children on your own.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I don't either. All right, let's get to the rapid fire, the fun part of the show. Appreciate those genuine and straightforward, thoughtful comments. So, Larry or Kobe?
Larry.
You better answer, Larry. Man, how good was Larry Bird?
I don't think people realize that. He is, you know, I know he was not the most athletic guy, but that guy had like a computer in his head.
Right.
He was thinking way ahead of everybody.
Way ahead. I mean,
and you know, he had like you know, balls like that. I mean, his balls were like that.
Yeah, right. of several different kinds. So MJ over LeBron then, right?
I don't want to even come close to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
different eras.
MJ was much better player, and I all due respect to LeBron James, he did some great things in his career, but I don't even think he's number two.
Who's two? Kareem?
No, I think Larry and Kobe are in front of him.
Wow, that's a first. Well, so you put Larry ahead of Wilt, Bill, Kareem, all of those guys. Wow, that's amazing. And it's not because you played in Boston. It's just the way you feel.
That's the way I feel. You know.
Wow.
You know, I saw him playing, and Wilt Chamberlain, I never saw him playing. Kareem, very, very late in his.
Yeah.
So I really, and also the one thing I have to say, probably I had to say that before anything. It's very not fair to compare generations. You know, it was different basketball. You know, if you look strict numbers and you see that Bill Russell won like 9 titles in a row,
right,
you cannot compare it to anything. But then, you know, it's a different generation, less good players, less teams, different basketball. So it's unfair to compare.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So Wilt sort of transformed the NBA the way he did for the bigs, and then, you know, and Bill and some others. And then Magic and Larry, you know, they came and they saved the NBA, you know, and then Jordan. And do you think Steph Curry is as transformational as those other guys I just mentioned in terms of changing the league?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Honestly, this year, I didn't know he had another level. I mean, he's doing stuff this year that I just, you know, because, you know, his teammate was out for 2 years, Klay Thompson. And what he did this year to step up until he came back was just, I mean, he's just doing more than I ever thought he could do. And I already thought he was the best shooter that ever played.
He's 30-something.
Right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, so Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, or Chuck on Inside the NBA on TNT.
I love Shaq in the pool. Really.
Shaq in the pool.
I think it's not as mistakes that the guys do, but the way they present them.
Yeah.
The way they make fun of everything, the way they do sketches and stuff.
Oh man.
It's
I mean, after the game is better than the game half the
so
time.
funny. It's so funny. Yeah.
So funny. Is Nikola Jokic the most skilled NBA player in history?
He is definitely very talented, but if you talk about pure talent, I think him and Luka Doncic are just unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
If those two guys have a physicality of MJ or Kobe Bryant,
yeah,
wow, that would be scary. I mean, both of them have a talent to be 10 years in a row MVPs.
Where did you like playing besides the Garden?
Everywhere. Of course, you like to play in a Lakers court,
yeah.
in Chicago court, and in Madison Square Garden. You know, all these epic places.
Unreal. Who's the best defender that you ever went up against?
It was very, very hard to play against Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh my gosh.
He wasn't the strongest guy, but he was such a smart guy, such a quick guy, such a long arms. He was really. I mean, and then Shaq, you cannot guard Shaq, 1-on-1. There's no
impossible. Can't guard him 2-on-1. Did you watch The Last Dance?
Of course.
What did you think of it?
I think I just love him more than before after watching it, because that explains why he was what he was, and out of these episodes, I always tell people, because many people here watch that, and they ask me of my opinion. I tell them, okay, did you see what he did? So they tell me he was an asshole. I say, yeah, he was. But if you see what he said over there, that I demand a lot from my teammates, but I never ask anytime somebody to do something that I didn't do first. And if you see that one part of the episode when he came back from the baseball on the practice, and you see the running suicides, he was the first.
Yep.
He was the first. He didn't have to do that.
Right.
He's MJ, but he ran first. That's the example of what I told you before. Talk is cheap. Show me.
Absolutely.
And that's why he was the best of all time. That's why he was the leader, and that's why I respect him so much, because that's something that he absolutely deserves.
Yeah. Oh man, I would have loved to play with him or Bobby Knight or anyone else that was tough, who made you the better version of yourself.
Yeah.
What city had the best hotels?
Ooh, Orlando.
What?
Disney.
That's right. I love it. What about the best food?
Best food is in Europe. No, States. In US.
Can't compare. Yeah.
You cannot compare the food in the States to food in Europe. Italy, Greece, France, Spain. Wow.
Oh yeah. I've been to Barcelona and a couple other places, definitely. So if you were playing now, would you be patenting the Euro, the floater, or the step back three?
I would do a lot of everything, but one thing that I don't see today is playing with the back to the basket.
Oh, it's in the women's game. I've been on the women's side 15 years as a professional basketball skills trainer, and I coached college basketball for 23 years. So I was on the men's side 15 years and the women's side for 15 now. And I can just tell you, the one thing about the women's game that I love is there's true post play. Yeah. On the men's side, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They don't realize when you put the ball behind the front line that if you have a guy who can pass what you have in Nikola Jokic, then you put them in trouble.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. So if you could have 5 people at your dinner table, past or present, dead or alive, but it has to be people that you've never met. Who would be at your dinner table?
Who I like to talk to. Okay. I would love to sit with Michael Jordan, definitely. I mean, I met him, but
Don't really know him. Yeah.
I really don't know him. I would love to sit with Bill Clinton.
Slick Willie. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting guy.
Who would be the first woman at your table? Are you a history buff? Do you like history?
I love history.
So what historical figure would be at your table?
Queen Elizabeth.
Wow. I have not had Queen Elizabeth as one of the answers. That's awesome.
Queen Elizabeth. Because
that's amazing.
She's there for a long time, and I bet she has stories, unbelievable stories. I watch the sitcom they do about the Crown. I don't know, I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
It's lovely. Yeah. I would love to pick her brain.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I'm really, I love history. I really know a lot about World War II.
Wow.
And I've been to Auschwitz, to the Dachau, to killing fields in Cambodia, and
wow.
I've seen many of these places, and I always ask myself, like, why this happened? Why people are making these mistakes after seeing what happened in the World War I, or why are these things happening over and over and over? And you can never get the answer, like the spot where these things happen. So I know really a lot about World War II. I know from Pearl Harbor to Iwo Jima to to
Vietnam War. Yeah,
Vietnam War. I went to Vietnam. I went to the Museum of War in Saigon. I went to these tunnels, and it's unbelievable experience. Believe me.
And you've been to Israel, obviously, too. So, you have some perspective about, things in the Middle East.
I've been to Israel before, but it's completely different perspective when you are, 30 and you're 55.
Right.
Completely different.
Absolutely. All right. Any words of wisdom for everybody out there that you want to leave everybody with? Anything else? We've been in 29 countries, and man, truly, truly been an amazing conversation. Every conversation is just so different. Today was fascinating. I know you've done a lot of these, but I hope you really enjoyed your time sharing space with us. It was amazing.
Yeah, always, man. Peace.
Yes.
Peace, no war.
Yes, love is definitely the answer. All right, Dino. All right, well, we'll stay in touch, and let's get Rick on the show, and you can be my co-host. That would be amazing. I'd love to have one of the.
To Tamir.
I definitely will say hello to Tamir. All right, wishing you and the family and the kids the best of health and much success.
Bye.
Much love and respect. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Dino.
Bye-bye.
All right, can't thank Dino Radja enough. Hall of Famer joining us here in the Sports Deli. And God, I hope you enjoyed some of those stories and his perspectives on things. Wow. And I love these conversations. And, he's in Croatia. He's got a different perspective, living overseas the majority of his life. And so, again, thanks for joining us and sharing space with us today, everybody. Hey, everyone, here's some outtakes for you. A couple of minutes with Dino before we started the podcast. Hope you enjoy it. And thanks again for joining us today here in the Sports Deli.
Hello.
Dino, what's happening?
How are you doing?
Good. Safe drive?
Yeah, all good.
Where are you?
Home.
Is it home in the United States?
No, in Europe.
Oh, you're in Europe. Oh, wow.
Croatia.
You're in Croatia. Man. Yeah. One of my bucket list places that I want to come to.
It's a really nice place, especially in the summertime.
Oh, yeah. I hear that's amazing. How was your trip to Israel? Great,
really great. I haven't been there for a long time. So it's good to see some friends. It's good to visit some places where I was a long time ago. So
yeah, did you play against Tamir when he was playing for Maccabi or no?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Tamir's doing some good things. He's a wonderful, better person.
Yeah, I
even
have.
than
I have his.
Aviv Net.
See, his net.
Yes, amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's doing some amazing things with that net. I'm very happy for him. I've known him since he was a little kid, a phenom. When he was in high school, he was in a gym that you couldn't even fit 50 people in because there was no room. And they had to play his high school games at Loyola College of Maryland. And they were selling out 5,000 seats every high school game when he would play. He was something.
He's good. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. All right, I'm gonna do a formal intro and then we'll rock and roll. Is that cool?
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, let's do it. Thanks for sharing space with us today. We truly hoped you enjoyed that amazing interview. Remember, everyone, Black Lives Matter. Stop the bullying. Stop the Asian hate. Contact your local and state politicians for any inequalities, for any individual or any group that's being marginalized. Also, everyone, we want to raise awareness for those individuals that are currently imprisoned for non-violent offenses, in particular those with long-term sentences that are disproportionate, in particular to those people in the Black and Brown community. And I want to send a shout out to 40tons.co. 40 Tons is a socially conscious cannabis brand, and they're a social enterprise using the regulated cannabis industry to fight injustice, in particular for cannabis prisoners. So check them out again at 40, the number 4, the number 0, tons, plural, 40tons.co, because what they're doing in the cannabis space and being a socially conscious company is truly incredible, and they have my full support. And also wanted to remind all of you, if you're having a tough time, you can always call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and that number is 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, and they are available 24/7, 365 days a year. You can also always check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok at Mike Hootner. Thanks again to our amazing sponsors, Breaking Tea, Sport RX, PSK Collective, City Lokes, and Moolah Kicks, which you can see right here up on the screen. You can search them online at breakingtea.com, sportrx.com, pskcollective.com, moolahkicks.com, and citylokes.com. And if you'd like to support us at the Sports Deli, we'd love to have you either make a one-time donation or feel free to make a donation monthly, either 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. If you have questions about that, send me an email again to thesportsdeli@gmail.com, and I will send you the link on how you can do that. You can also find it at the bottom of every podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Link at the bottom to support the show. Please check out our website at thesportsdelipodcast.com. Make sure that we continue the conversations with regards to 3 strikes and you're out and mandatory minimums, especially people that are in jail for non-violent offenses. So those things need to change. Until next time, remember it takes a village. For Dr. J and Coach K, I'm Hootie Hoot. This has been a production of Hootie Hoot Productions. Thank you for joining us in the Sports Deli, where everyone deserves a seat at the table. Remember, it takes a village. Much love, everybody. Peace.